Hello, everybody, and welcome to TGB1 Season 41 for rounds number 5 and number 6. We're here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. It's short qualifying and a 25% Grand Prix to start us off before we head to the desert of Qatar for a one-shot quality and 35% race. We've currently got the championship leader, ERT Casper, in the Alpine, the man that won both races last week. He is currently in danger of not finishing in the top 8 as he's pulled into the pits with under 5 minutes to go in the session. Have we got anyone currently on a lap? I think Phil Bardwell is our man. He is not on a lap at the moment, maybe just warming up his tyres and extra time around. But we'll go and watch the Aston Martin, the man that won the opening round, but has been under a bit of pressure. Maybe some mistakes in Brazil. He wasn't in top form last week. Can he get back to where he belongs at that front end of the grid and winning the Grand Prix and trying to win that 7th championship? Machine Ireland has just improved to the front row of the grid. He's another championship contender. He currently sits third in the standings, but Softy on his outlap. We'll watch him as he goes round for what will be his last time in qualifying here in Silverstone. We'll go down the championship order as Softy goes through the middle part of his lap. Casper leads on 73 points with a 4-point advantage over this man, the soft cop, on 69. Machine Ireland is on 62 in third. Court Gill with an impressive season on 46 in fourth. Jack Hickey rounds out the top 5 on 41. Matt Tibos on 33. Jovial Manatee is on 30. Jeaners is on 28 and 8th. Speed Kai on 23. And the reigning champion, New Zealand Cam, on 22 and 10th. But Softy now, round the final corner, begins his qualifying lap for the final time in Silverstone. He currently has over 0.2 of a second lead in provisional pole. Can he improve on that? Coming rounds turn 1 and 2. It's looking smooth. He brakes as late as possibly can. Uses all the curb on the right hand side as much as he dares onto the slingshot down the Wellington straight. The car on the left moves out of the way nicely. Matt Tibos has moved up into P3. The man that finished P3 here in the race last season. He'll be wanting to replicate that podium. Softy not improving on his very good time set earlier in this section. What can he do now? He's got a bit of traffic, people just warming up their tyres, as you see down the screen. Plenty of people on outlaps. Softy going to have to try and avoid all of these guys. You see the fuel warning light on the bottom of your screen. He's running as little fuel as possible, using all the battery through Cops, coming up to Margits and Beckett's now. The Aston Martin looking beautiful, and Softy is absolutely flying through the most wonderful section on any F1 track. He's going to get a lovely toe and slipstream off his teammate. That may well help Softy improve in the final sector and get an even bigger advantage to the Red Bull, who's not going to have any time to improve on his 25.4. Softy now round the final couple of corners of Great Britain. What can he do to improve on his provisional pole time that he set? He improves it by just under 1/10 of a second. Can New Zealand Cam, who's also improving, but probably not enough at the moment. Court Gill not far enough round. Aidan Griffin's not far enough round either. Casper, he's probably going to be the man that will challenge Softy for pole position. He's the man, obviously in P12 at the moment. He is the championship leader, but Cam is further round. We'll watch what Cam can do in the Williams. He's not having a very great season. He's down in P10, the defending champion. He'll want to try and get some pride back this weekend after disappointing moments there. Shea has bottled his run on his plan. Not good for the McLaren driver. Matt Tibos is calling it a day in P3. He'll be wanting that to be, well, it's looking like it could be P3 at the moment, because Cam is only improving by half a 10th of a second. What can the Williams man do? He's not had a good season. Only 22 points scored. He'll want to improve a bit more to try and get onto that front row of the grid. There's not much separating him and Machine Ireland for P2. What will Cam do coming round the final corner? He gets it. What a final sector from New Zealand Cam. He steals it at the death. A 1 minute 25.3 is a very good lap, but nowhere near enough to challenge Softy's time of a 25.1. ERT Casper and Jack Hickey two names on the grid that could possibly challenge Jack Hickey in P5 in the standings. He's not had the championship level season we've come to know him in recent years, but he'll be wanting to be finished best of the rest behind these front three that seem to have a wee battle of their own between Machine Ireland, Softy and Casper. Cam is trying to force himself up there. Casper only 10th. A 26-2 from your championship leader. And the Aston Martin garage will be very happy with that. Jack Hickey is improving by just under 2/10 of a second. Round the final bend he goes, the McLaren driver. What will it be for Jack Hickey? It's only going to be P7. Johners, he's going to improve as well. Unless he's had a mistake, it should be an improvement. He takes 7th back. And Phil Bargewell takes 9th position. And Machine Ireland very happy with P3. Only got one lap in, so disappointing for him. Maybe not getting as many runs as Red Bull would have liked, but it is all about getting that time on the board. And he did get that time on the board early enough to settle for the second row of the grid. New Zealand Cam and Softy ahead. Machine Ireland may be hoping for a Lewis Hamilton Max Verstappen-esque moment as we come to the end of the short qualifying for the British Grand Prix. As you see, Joe Villmani on a very fast cool-down lap. We will run through the order very quickly. Softy takes another pole position by over 2/10 of a second. New Zealand Cam will join him on the front row. The grid Machine Ireland only got one lap in, but P3 will have to do for him. Matt Tibbles, who was on the podium at Silverstone last season, finishes 4th. Joe Villmani and Dan the Man 5th and 6th. Johners and Jack Hickey traded positions late in the day, but they finished 7th and 8th. Phil Bargewell and Court Gill in 9th and 10th. Casper, the championship leader, a second off the pace, not good for Alpine. Sheck Waste with a very good qualifying in 12th. Aidan Griffins here for the first time this season in 13th. Lewis Craig and Wet Lemons and Alistair Bain 14th, 15th and 16th. Chris Johnson and Mr. Giapelli and Dom Smith 17th, 18th and 19th. And Nell Jack rounds out the final position on the grid. We do believe it's going to be a dry race. I've not heard anything suggesting it's going to be wet weather, but we'll find out in just a moment if the game does want to load. And it is dry, as you see the lovely grandstand there at Silverstone. No emergency ponchos going to be needed. Well, it is always Britain, though it could throw up a bit of spicy weather, but it looks dry. Softy on pole position. He has been the one that's gone on to some different strategies in the 35% races. I do believe this is going to be a strictly 13 lap. This is going to be a soft to medium, medium to soft battle. Obviously, the Qatar Grand Prix will throw up some different strategies with it being, I believe it's 25 laps, the 35% distance. That could be wrong, though. Softy on pole. New Zealand Cam, though, he's the man that needs to make the positions up. He's obviously, I think it's 51 points adrift of the championship leader already is New Zealand Cam. He needs to get the foot down tonight. He needs to win both Grand Prix if he's going to have any opportunities. But the lights are on. We have 4, we have 5 red lights. And we're underway for the British Grand Prix. And it's a very good start from the Aston Martin Softy. New Zealand Cam hasn't had the best of starts off the grid to try and challenge him. Machine Ireland has gone away very well as well. And there's not much movement at the front of the grid. Tibbles down the inside. He goes with the Red Bull man of Machine Ireland. They're side by side around turns 3 and 4. Matt Tibbles down the middle and in straight, going to try and make a move, and he's got the move done. He's up into P3. Machine Ireland has dropped down the order. New Zealand Cam going to try and make a move around the outside of Softy, both on the medium tyres, and Softy slams the door in his face. Dan the Man has moved up a position ahead of Jovial Man. He's going to try to do an unthinkable move on the soft tyres. Machine Ireland's had a moment. He's moved to the left, and Dan the Man says thank you very much, and the position sticks. Dan the Man is up into P4. Matt Tibbles is pushing the gearbox of New Zealand Cam through Cops and going to go into Margate and Beckett, and look how close the guys are at the top end of the field. Softy managing to hold on just at the moment as there's a Haas down the order tumbling, but it's all about the Haas and P3 at the moment. Matt Tibbles, who's not had a race win for a very long time, what can he do? As you see the strategies getting in the way, Cam holds on, and it's just like a train further back with no DRS, everyone holding on to the positions at the moment. Lewis Craig and Aidan Griffins have dropped down the order, maybe a little bit of damage and complications, and the most important thing, Matt Tibbles In P3, he's broken that gap to Dan the Man for DRS. It's 1.1 the second now. Machine Ireland, though, he's going to try and make a move on Machine Dan the Man. If he can get the straight line speed, not going to get that at this part of the track, but down the inside he goes at turn number 2. And he's not got the grip on those medium tyres. Not enough for the Red Bull man. Johners, though, he's close, very close to the back of the AlphaTauri of Jovial Man. He's not going to have the exit to make the move, no, but here is someone that does have the exit to make the move. Machine Ireland back down the inside on the Wellington straight. Shex is accidentally disconnected from the session, but Dan the Man is still trying to force his way on the soft tyres. He's not got the grip, and what a move it was for Machine Ireland. But these guys are already 1.5 back as we head through Cops for the second time in the British Grand Prix. Matt Tibbles, very impressive, holding on to the back of the top 2. These guys are going to battle tooth and nail until at least the pit stop phase, as you would imagine. And look how close Cam is. No DRS, obviously. He's going to use all of that battery he possibly can on the back of the Aston, the softy. To try and defend the position. Cam going to try force it, but Softy on the brake pedal is as good as any man and holds on to the lead of the British Grand Prix for the moment. Matt Tibbles in the background as well. He's hanging on to these guys as Jack Hickey now has traded places with Johners. We just missed that in the background. Johners now maybe going to be under pressure from Courtgill. Machine Ireland sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and he has gotten back into that DRS zone of Matt Tibbles. What can the Red Bull man do? Obviously third in the standings in the championship. He needs to get a move on and catch these guys. Softy maybe struggling for pace at the moment. New Zealand Cam is pushing him through the first part of the sector, but he seems to have gotten a better exit, and Cam with the DRS open this time not going to be close enough as you see guys further back trying to make some moves. Jack Hickey defending well from Johners this time. Neil Jack, who has had a great start to the Grand Prix, he's up 7 positions all the way up in P13. A good start for the Mercedes driver. Cam a wee bit further back, he's 3/10 now adrift of Softy coming through Cops. What will he be able to do? Williams versus Aston Martin, Mercedes power versus Mercedes power, where you're not going to really be able to overtake, but you can set it up beautifully. It looks like he has set it up beautifully. He'll open the DRS for the second time. Softy's going to have nothing to defend with, and we've got a lead change in the British Grand Prix for the first time. New Zealand Cam will lead the Grand Prix. Softy will hold on to second, but he's not going to give it up without a fight. Down the inside, Softy goes. He thinks better of it. Cam later on the brakes manages to hold on. Matt Tibbles, though, he's licking his lips at these guys battling ahead. 2/10 the gap. What can Matt Tibbles do to try and change and spice up the British Grand Prix? We've had a pretty interesting Grand Prix so far, and you look at Softy thinking about it again, maybe forcing New Zealand Cam to miss the apex, costing him a run down the Wellington straight. Softy fully focused on the car ahead, maybe not paying attention to Matt Tibbles behind, and that could play into the Haas team's hands if Matt Tibbles can get close enough. He's not using any battery. Matt Tibbles just biding his time. He knows what he has to do. Matt Tibbles, obviously a 2-time TGP1 champion. He's won multiple races. He knows how to do the job. Maybe not been up there in recent seasons, but he knows how to get wins done. Wet Lemons on the back of Alistair Bain. Not going to be close enough to make a move into Cops. Obviously not somewhere where you're naturally going to make up a position unless you're very brave and trust the man ahead. And this man, Softy, if there's any man you're going to trust in the track, it would be him. 3/10 the gap, he'll open the DRS. He's not even going to need any battery. Just look at the slipstream from the Aston Martin. He moves to the right. Cam just knows better than to defend that. Softy leads the British Grand Prix as we complete lap number 4. Machine Ireland now, he was 1.5 seconds off this pack. He's right up on these guys. The man third in the championship is looking to make his move and try and climb those standings. At the moment he will. Casper 16th. He's had some contact on an issue further down. As you see Matt Tibbles running off wide, and look at the move for the lead of the Grand Prix. Cam going to go round the outside. They've touched. Maybe some damage. Cam turned in a wee bit. Machine Ireland going to try and make a move as well. Machine Ireland runs wide on the exit, and Cam now going to try and retake the lead of the Grand Prix. As you see further back, Matt Tibbles is going to make a move on Machine Ireland. Calm not close enough, and Machine Ireland is up into P3 at the moment. Calm not quite close enough to make the move on Softy. But will he be able to this next time around? Obviously, you're going to wait for the straight before Stowe, try and make the move there with the DRS. Softy going to have not a great run out of Cops actually, but Calm knows better than to make a move there. Machine Ireland, he's about 7 tenths off this battle. He did what he needed to do. He lost out to Dan the Man and Matt Tibbles, but he's made up the places again. And he's back up into P3. He will obviously move into P2 in the Drivers' Championship tonight if it stays the way it is. Jovial Manatee has got past Dan the Man, and Jack Hickey's got past Dan the Man, and they've touched, and Jack Hickey's off, and he's piling down the order, and that just shows you what a mistake can do. And look at that, Johners down the inside of the other Alfa Romeo with Dan the Man, and he should get the move done, and he does. 18 laps of the British Grand Prix, and those soft tyres must be running out of puff just about soon, as Jack Hickey will not be happy with that move there, and he'll be wanting maybe the position back from the Alfa Romeo of Dan the Man. Court Gill trying to pressure his teammate who's had a very good season, Court Gill in P4 in the standings, obviously down in P8, not what he would have been wanting tonight so far. Phil Bardwell's been passed by Wet Lemons for P10, and New Zealand Calm maybe just holding on and biding his time. He's got plenty of ERS in the battery pack, in the energy recovery system. He's not quite close enough to make a move on Softy. Maybe the tyre's just overheating a wee bit and he feels he needs to drop just that wee bit. Not quite the 2/10 gap we've seen so far tonight. And Court Gill, side by side they go, the Alfa Romeos, and Court does get the move done. He's obviously on the tyre compound, the slower of the two, but at this stage in the race, the fresher rubber, the more durable rubber in the Grand Prix, so it's probably a wise decision to get that move done. He's on the back now, though, of Johners, and he needs to watch out for his teammate, because his teammate's very close as well. Dom Smith has got past Nell Jack Ferrari, passing the Mercedes for P13. Obviously, these guys fighting over the final couple of points. And Neljag actually back round the outside. He's going to go. That will turn into the inside. Dom Smith slams the door shut on his good friend. And that is a lovely move from Neljag that it looked to be. But Dom Smith slammed the door. And look how close Cam is to the back of this battle. 2/10. Machine Ireland not managing to close up as much as he would like at this stage in the race. Maybe struggling for tyre wear at this stage in the race. Obviously, we can check what tyres people are on. Softy runs a wee bit wide there. Maybe wanting for a better exit on the corner. Jack Hickey and Dan the Man are squabbling for position. Side by side they go. Jack Hickey on the mediums. Dan the Man, though, he's going to try and push his nose as they're still side by side as they come now to the corner up to Cops. What can they do? And Jack Hickey manages to hold on to P8 for the moment. New Zealand Calm 1/10 behind Softy now. This is the closest this battle has been for about 2 laps. What can he do down the straight? He's going to open the DRS. It'll give him 12 kilometres an hour extra speed. And look at that, Matt Tibbles back up into P3, who also started on the softs, maybe contributed to his great start. Matt Tibbles back on the podium for now. Be good to see what he can do later on in the Grand Prix. Obviously on the mediums he'll have to go a bit longer in his second stint compared to the other guys. Softy and New Zealand Calm, the top two, they're catching some bark markers. Sheck Waste obviously gonna go, so he shouldn't have to move out of the way, as I don't believe he's actually in the session. As we come down to the Wellington Straight for another go. What can Calm do this time? He's got the battery in the back pocket. Softy will get DRS. It's actually going to bail Softy out here, and Cam doesn't even bother using the energy in his battery to make that move. And I tell you what, Matt Tibbles is closing back up to this pack as Machine Ireland struggling for pace now. He struggled for pace in the first phase. He kind of got through that, maybe a graining phase on the tyre, and he's got through that, and it's kind of gone back to being bad again. Jack Hickey, 2 attempts adrift, not close enough to make a move. Casper, your championship leader though in P12. He's made up some positions. Guys have pitted though. Dan the man on the mediums. Phil Bardwell's opted for the hard tyre, so maybe another Ferrari excellent strategy. But even ahead now, New Zealand Cam not close enough. He got to about a 10th and couldn't quite improve. Will we see one of the top guys bite? Mark Tibbles is in. Jack Hickey now is past Court Gill for P7 on the road, and he's looking ahead, he's looking at Johners, and he's thinking, I want P6 and another couple of points in the championship. New Zealand Calm, not close enough to make a move into turn number 1, but what can he do? He's going to use all of that curb on the right hand side, as you do, not using any curb until this corner here on the left, using as much of the curb as you can, cap that corner as much as it will allow you. Use so much exit, use the DRS. Softy will have no DRS this time because there's no back markers ahead, and still that Aston Martin seems to have the edge when it comes to straight line speed, even under DRS and ERS conditions. Court Gill almost goes into the back of Jack Hickey. That would have been a bit fruitful if that had happened, and maybe an extra decision in the stewards room, but we don't want the races to be decided by the stewards. We want the races to be decided by the drivers on the circuit during the laps that are provided. Look at Cam's grip. He's got so much more speed during this middle part, the Margates and Beckett's and section of the racetrack. But it gets to this point, and look at Softy just leaves him in the dust. And Cam can't get that speed. He's improving, he's catching and catching, but it takes him so long to get to that phase where he is catching him that he can't get him. If Softy's in, Softy's doing the undercut on New Zealand Cam. Obviously ahead, it won't be too much of an undercut. You'd expect Softy to hold on. Machine Ireland has called it a day on his 8-lap old medium tyres. So we did say Softy does like going on the hards in these second races of the night. Obviously it's race 1 tonight. We'll see what the Aston Martin pit crew do. It's softs for the Aston Martin. Over to you, Williams. Over to you, New Zealand Cam. What can you do on your in lap? He's got a box. He was about 2 tenths back on the Aston Martin driver. Car number 5, the defending, reigning, hopefully retaining TGP1 champion New Zealand Cam. He's got to have the lap of his life to hopefully stay within touching distance of Softy. Has Softy come out in traffic? No, he's got 10 seconds of clean air on the road. He's not in any danger from Matt Tibbles either at the moment. Cam is having a good lap in comparison to Jack Hickey, but that's not what kind of lap times he's wanting to set. He needs to try and stay within that 5 tenths gap of Softy. Softy in P6 at the moment, just stopped. Cam going to be coming into the pits this time around. Casper's night is going from bad to worse. He picks up a time penalty. In comes New Zealand Cam, locks up the rears, but it doesn't matter because those tyres are coming off. Now it's down to the pit crew. What can they do? Can they get him in, service him, and get him back out very quickly enough to keep this man within the DRS? That's what they need to do. And I tell you what, they need to get him out before Matt Tibbles, who obviously on the mediums might be easy to pass, but he's going to be under pressure here, New Zealand Cam. No matter what happens, it's softs for him, of course. Jack Hickey and the whole top 5 pits, so Softy will regain the lead of the Grand Prix, as Softy actually coming round the first corner now as Matt Tibbles sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and look how close it's going to be. Softy leads, Matt Tibbles is going to come out just behind, but Cam did what he needed to do. He stayed within that DRS of Softy. That's what he needed to do. Now he's got a lap younger tyres than the soft cop. He's got 2 lap fresher rubber than Matt Tibbles, obviously on the medium compound. As we come round Silverstone, everyone now has boxed in contention for some good points. Matt Tibbles has boxed for mediums. He's one of the few that did start on the soft tyres. Not many men did. And not many men will finish on those mediums, Phil Bargewell and Gioviamani, they opted for the hard compounded tyre, and it's not going Phil Bargewell's way as he's trying to fight with Court Gill over P7, and Court on fresh rubber gets the move done. And you'd imagine Jack Hickey in the McLaren behind and Johners in the Red Bull behind are going to get the move done on Phil Bargewell. 3-lap old hards, he tried to get the move, he tried to go for track position, but it's just not going to be enough. Jack Hickey blast past Johners, you'd imagine next time around we get the move done. And Jovial Manti, not much of a fight either for Court Gill, as Court Gill blast past Softy sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and that's immediately smashed by Machine Ireland, who sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So P4 for him, plus the bonus point. Just what the doctor ordered for Machine Ireland. He'll be hoping, though, to catch that 1.6 second gap to Matt Tibbles and get on the podium. Matt Tibbles, though, he's not in any danger just yet. As New Zealand Cam, he'll open up the DRS. He's side by side with Softy, and New Zealand Cam takes the lead of the British Grand Prix for only about the 5th time. These guys have swapped positions. Jack Hickey is now past Jovial Manti and can set his sights purely on Court Gill and then try and catch the 2 seconds to Dan the Man. And, well, Softy, right on the back of this battle of New Zealand Cam. Matt Tibbles is just kind of holding on to the back of the battle. He's keeping him within that DRS. Softy now, he had the straight line speed compared to Cam in the first stint, and it's looking like he is again down the inside of Stowe. He goes, there's a wee bit of contact. Softy will push the Williams wide and gets the lead of the Grand Prix once more, as the podium seems to be settling up to what it was in season 40. Softy wins, Cam second, Tibbles third. Anyone for 2 in a row, that's what it's looking like at the moment. Dom Smith and Neiljack are having a tooth and nail battle at the back. They've been battling all night long. But Dom Smith on those soft tyres, fresher soft tyres, you'd imagine that's him okay now in P13. Obviously, your TGP2 season 32 champion, he shouldn't be any under too much pressure from Neiljack now. New Zealand Cam, not going to be quite close enough to the back of Softy, and there you go again. Just maybe that straight line speed, not quite what Softy Cam needs it to be. And there's a late lunge from Jack Hickey on Court Gill. Court Gill going to go for the move back down the inside. He goes, he's going to try hold the inside. That should allow Jack Hickey to run onto the gravel, if so, but Jack Hickey just manages to avoid the gravel. He'll hold on to the position, and Court Gill, who fought it for his life but couldn't hold on. Jack Hickey up into P6, he holds on. Court Gill will have to fight another day. Those guys seem to be getting away from the battle of Jovial Manti and Johners. And Softy has been passed by Cam there. You just seen it as we were watching Matt Tibbles' POV. You've seen Matt Tibbles just looking how close. He's getting closer to those guys. It's about 4 tenths. These 2 guys at the front battling is allowing Matt Tibbles to kind of stay within striking distance of the battle for P1. Jack Hickey now, he has broken the DRS of Dan the Man. What can Jack Hickey do now in the McLaren? He's under pressure, of course, from Court Gill. He's in an Alfa Romeo sandwich. Dom Smith is up into P12 now, ahead of Alistair Bain. Alistair maybe struggling just a wee bit. Softy not going to have the speed this time to make the move. Is anyone further back going to have a chance? Jack Hickey might actually be under pressure instead of putting pressure on someone. Court Gill is going to try and make a move, and nope, he thinks better of it, probably wise. And the race has kind of stagnated a wee bit here with 5 laps to go in the British Grand Prix. Mr. Giapelli, he's got past Wet Lemons for P14. A disappointing night for the Mercedes men. Now Jack will be happy moving up, obviously, those 3 positions. 7th position, sorry, but it's all on the battle for the front, the main points. And look at Softy thinking about a move, wasn't close enough. Jack Kicky though, he's going to be close enough. He's going to have the DRS open, not using his battery. He moves to the right. Courtgill doesn't try to defend, sorry, Dan the man. And on the fresher soft tyres, the McLaren man takes position. And another synchronised swimming in the season. Courtgill was allowed to slip up the side and try put pressure on for P5. Good teammate work there from Dan the man. Mercedes maybe doing the same thing as Mr. Chiapelli gets past Neil Jack. Softy though, 4 laps to go, maybe running out of time, maybe biding his time on New Zealand Calm for the lead. And the top 4 now all can be separated by less than 2 seconds. This is just proving how close this battle has been over the course of the season. Matt Tibbles not really been involved in that battle over the course of the season. It's been a good night for him. He's had a good season. But this is maybe a bit of a shock being in this podium battle, or maybe being in the battle for the lead, for the win. Casper in P11. He's only looking like he's going to score 3 points tonight, or is it 4? I believe it's 4 points he'll get for P11. As you see, the kind of field has kind of stayed around about 3 tenths. Softy is close. He's going to move to the right. Calm won't try and defend it because it's just not really worth defending. And Softy's almost spun it. And he's just managed to hold on there. He had a wee bit of a moment. But the 6-time champion, the man is looking to make it a 7-time champion to equal the record of Hamilton and Schumacher. But look at this, Cam is so close, and he thinks better of making a move into turn 1, and that's probably a wise decision. But making a move into turn number 3 is a better overtaking opportunity. Softy goes deep. That should allow Cam to have a much nicer run onto the Wellington straight as you see the guys open up the DRS. Softy going to be defenceless coming into turn number 7, and that is a lovely move from Cam. It's swooping, he gets the move done. Matt Tibbles manages to hold on to the final step of the podium as we come now the run to Cops. What can these guys do? The top 4 are so close. They could literally be separated by less than 2 seconds, and Softy not going to have any chance of getting the move done there. He's just got to bide his time and hold on. Oh no, disaster for Tibbles. He picks up a 3-second time penalty, and that is just what Machine Ireland needed, who seems to be struggling on getting that move done. So it looks like P4 is going to be set in stone now for Tibbles. Looks like Machine Ireland is going to have the move for the podium sorted, even if he can't get the move done later on in the session tonight. We're coming up now to the final couple of laps. We're going to start the penultimate lap. And it looks calm from Softy, from Matt Tibbles, from Machine Ireland, Jack Kicky and Courtgill. Around about 10 seconds off that battle. But what can these guys do now as we start the penultimate lap of the British Grand Prix? And Calm is so slow and Softy has to take avoiding action. Maybe some words going to be hard. As Matt Tibbles actually, he's right on the inside of Softy. And he's lost the position, Softy. Softy had to take avoiding action. He'll open the DRS. He should get the position back for P2. Matt Tibbles going to try and defend it, but on the lap old medium tyres, it's just not going to be enough in the tyre, not enough grip. And well, maybe some words going to be hard after the Grand Prix. But yeah, Calm seemed to be slowing down, kind of like what he did in Brazil, where he lifted off and caused Softy to DNF and a safety car. Maybe some words going to be hard after the Grand Prix, but Matt Tibbles was in P2 for a moment. Softy came black past, and if Softy doesn't win this race now, I think there might be some discussion. He's going to do what he can though as we get down the straight up to Stowe now for one more time. We're going to tour Silverstone, the British Grand Prix circuits. We're coming up to another back marker. Cam will be desperate to get the DRS at the back of this back marker to try and hold on. There's a yellow flag in sector 2, but that is not what we're focusing on at the moment. Less than 1.5 seconds separate the top 4. Softy is trying everything he can to win the British Grand Prix. He won this Grand Prix this time last season. Is he going to win it 2 in a row? Is he going to take the lead in the championship and extend it to the maximum? Casper in P10 with a penalty shouldn't really affect it too much. Softy, of course, going to take the lead of the championship going into Qatar. But he wants to win. He wants to win as many races as possible. He wants to win the championship, winning every race. And he'll want a biggest gap to Casper, to Cam, to Machine Ireland as possible. But at the moment, it looks like he's only going to take a 3-point haul over Machine Ireland. Was he taking a big haul over Casper down in P10? It's been a disappointing race for him. But Cam now, the gap, 1/10 of a second. If your money was to be bet and money to put on a bet, it would be Softy for the win, but it could be the commentator's curse there. Softy open up the DRS, he's going to drain that battery all the way down to 0. He'll move to the right. Cam can't really defend it much. Instead, he breaks really late. Softy will hold on. He pushes Cam wide. Cam's going to try hold on. Softy though round the outside, it turns into the inside. And that is just beautiful from Softy, who wins the British Grand Prix. Matt Tibbles will come third in the road, but it will be P4. Machine Ireland picks up the podium. Jack Hickey holds on to P5. Court Gill will take P6. Dan the Man on 11 lap old tyres drops down to 8th. Jovial Manny takes 7th. Johners will take 9th. A disappointing opening race for your championship leader Casper in P10. Phil Bargewell comes 11th. Mr. Giapelli does manage to hold off Wet Lemons, but the time penalties and mistakes cost him P12. So it is Wet Lemons from Dom, from Mr. Giapelli. Chris Johnson in P15. Neljak comes home in P16. Alistair Payne, when he decides to finish, will come home in P17. A disappointing night for Lewis Craig. He's in P18, 24 seconds off, but not as bad a night as the Aidan Griffins is having. He's lost a lot of time, maybe lost a lot of pace, not playing the game. Too much work, making the money in the coupe, but he'll come home to round out your finisher. Sheck Weiss, the only man not to finish tonight's race, but I do believe that was due to some internet issues in the William garage. That's not a crash or anything like that, so we'll let Sheck Weiss off with that one and see what he can do in Qatar. But there you have it, a lovely British Grand Prix, a very entertaining Grand Prix, and once again Softy takes the victory. He took it on the last lap in the last sector, practically the last couple of corners, and he takes maximum points from the British Grand Prix. You'll see the podium celebrations. We've seen that many a time. We've not seen it too much in the Aston Martin overalls, but Softy won't care. He wins the Grand Prix. He wins in Britain for the second year running. New Zealand Cam, he'll be gutted. 2 years in a row now, he's had to watch that man, Softy, win over him in the British Grand Prix. Matt Tibbles looked on for a podium again tonight, but he got a time penalty, which meant it wasn't the same podium he had in season 40. Machine Ireland does manage to get on that third step of the podium, who only had one lap in quali, so to get P3, not much practice. He steals the final step in the podium. We will run down the order one last time, just in case you guys missed it. Softy wins the Grand Prix, a very entertaining Grand Prix, and look at the gap, less than a tenth of a second, separating the top two. Cam and Machine Ireland round out your podium. Matt Tibbles and Jack Hickey take 4th and 5th. Court Gill with another great result, 6th. Jovial Manny and Dan the Man, 7th and 8th. Johners in 9th. Casper, disappointing for the championship leader in 10th. Phil and Wet Lemons in 11th and 12th. Dom Smith and Mr. Giapelli round out the points. Chris Johnson and Neljak 15th and 16th. Alistair Bain, Lewis Craig in 17th and 18th. A disappointing night for Aidan Griffins in 19th. And Sheck Weiss, the only man not to finish the British Grand Prix. So, compared to the Grand Prix that opened last week, when we only had 13 runners finish, we had everyone finish. Pretty much. I'm sure Sheck Weiss would have finished as well, but there were some issues in the Williams garage as we go into Qatar. now. It does say short qualifying. I do believe it is one shot quali. We will double check that. And we will get any updates and any news from the team guys to see what happens. If there's any issues or steward discussions, we will see if there's any other possibilities of what's going on. But Softy wins again. So we stick to the 3 winners this season. 6 races, 3 winners. But it will be 6 races after tonight. It's obviously 5 races, 3 winners, 6 races after tonight's Grand Prix. Softy wins again at Great Britain in round 5. He also won the opening round in Australia. Obviously, Casper Machine Ireland obviously picked up wins as well. Casper loses the lead at the top of the championship. He is no longer in P1. It will be Softy who takes that crown spot after 5 Grand Prix. So we're 25 laps of Qatar. It's actually 14 laps as I'm being told on the screen. But then with 20 races, 5 races down, 20% of the way, 25% of the way. Softy leads. Machine Ireland in second in your championship. And Court Gill, he's going to be putting the pressure on these guys now. Court, obviously 6th, a good haul of points for him. He's been consistent this season, probably the most consistent man in the field of where he's been finishing race to race on average. He'll be close now to that battle for P3 with Casper and with Machine Ireland. Softy just seems to be sailing away a wee bit. Obviously only 5 races in. This is where we need the likes of Casper and Machine Ireland and even Calm. This is where the consistency comes into it. This is where you can't afford these mistakes that drivers make from time to time. Softy, he's just one of those guys, he doesn't make the mistakes. He doesn't put pressure on himself later on in the season by losing out in races early on. Softy, who obviously could have been champion last season, missed a few races, isn't going to miss a few races this season, and well, he's now proving why he is a 6-time champion. He leads the championship. Must be by over 21 points now if my maths is correct. He is leading by a hell of a lot. It might just be less than 21. As we go into the Qatar Grand Prix, if you want the good news, it's one of the best tracks to watch the Grand Prix usually over the course of TGP1 and TGP2. We've had some great battles on this track. But Softy won this last time in season 40, so we could be on for another Softy win here. New Zealand Cam picked up 2nd place here last season as well, and that is not what Cam will be wanting. He will be sick of seeing the back of that Aston Martin's rear wing. Jovi Almanti also finished on the podium here in Qatar last time. He's not had a great season, Jovi Almanti. He'll be wanting for just a wee bit of an improvement. He's in P7 in the standings before tonight's races, so not the worst season, but Roy is known to be one of the guys that can win a race in the season. If there was a man outside of the top kind of bunch, it would be him that you'd think could probably get a win. And you'd be looking to some of the TGP2 guys who obviously would have been up the front in TGP2 in this circuit last season. Might have done some runs here in TGP1 in season 40. Wet Lemons, Chris Johnson, Lewis Craigs, those are your kind of guys you'd be looking for around about P12 to P15, 16. You'll see them kind of at one of these tracks, kind of scoring the minimal points. Obviously, the Sarah point system in TGP1 gives you the top 14 do score points. So you'll be thinking some of those guys higher up in TGP2 could possibly break into the points at this kind of track. Obviously, time penalties are a big issue around Qatar, so guys will have to watch out for that. Keeping it in the white lines. Obviously, we don't want to sound like Anthony Davis on the Skypad, but it's just one of those things that cost you wins. As Casper knows, in Australia, that did cost him a win. Arguably, could have said he would have won that Grand Prix without the penalty. But the top guys in the division, in the TGP series, you'd expect them to kind of keep it between the lines, hold on, and can be consistent enough. Obviously, the tyre wear around Qatar is pretty bad. I'm not sure if there's been a patch to update it, but as far as I'm aware, the tyre wear is pretty rough around here. Obviously, I got my tracks mixed up. It's only going to be 14 laps around Qatar with one-shot quali. So it's going to be interesting to see as we wait for Neljak's internet to connect as it finally does. We're going to have about 30 seconds. The guys are going to get some setups on. We don't want them to forget that. In the night, the floodlights are on. It's a night race in the desert. It's Formula One. It's TGP1. What more could you want to end your Tuesday night? The guys are just having some half-time oranges, maybe a glass of water, rub the hands with a towel, have a wee cool down after Britain, get the head back on, and we'll get going for one-shot quali where it only takes one mistake to ruin your lap. It takes only one mistake to ruin your lap in normal quali, but it's only one mistake and you're starting at the back of the field in one shot. We will watch with Softy, the championship leader, the man that took pole in Silverstone, the man that took the race win in Silverstone, the man that won the Qatar Grand Prix last time out. We're on board with the Aston Martin Softy through turns 1 and 2. It's looking good so far. He'll use all the curb on the right hand side both times here. He'll use as much curb on the exit as he dares into the double right hander towards the end of sector 1. What will his split time be? He's currently sitting in P2. Not the time he would have been hoping for just yet, but plenty of lap to go for the championship leader car, number 99, through Qatar. Looking good so far. One of the hardest places to keep it between the white lines that we talked about earlier during the interval. Softy is doing so with ease, keeping it between the white lines, showing guys how it's done on the soft compound attire. Now everyone will be on that soft compound. You want this maximum grip to have the best run, the best lap you can possibly do, and this is looking like a very smooth lap from Softy to have a great opportunity of taking pole position as we come now to the final corner where you can gain so much time if you can get a good run out of it with good braking and good traction. Softy doesn't look happy. He'll open the DRS. It's the run up to the line. It looks like it's going to be pole position. And it should be. That run up to the line is so long. And Dan the man is going to be on the front row of the grid. And the man that we've not seen at the front in a wee while. Starting P2. A great lap from Dan the man. But as we expected, Softy takes the pole position for the Qatar Grand Prix. Cam and Johners are P3 and P4, the second row of the grid. Matt Tibbles in P5 having another good moment. Lewis Craig with a P6. What a lap from him. We did mention that it could be a good track for him. Jovi Almani and Phil Bargeville on the fourth row of the grid. The fifth row of the grid is Phil Bargeville and Wet Lemons. Chris Johnson and Dom Smith line up 10th and 11th. Aidan Griffins and Nell Jack 12th and 13th. Machine Ireland didn't get a lap, and that's disappointing for him. And the guys that were disqualified are Court Gill, Casper, Mr. Giapelli, Alistair Bain, and Jack Hickey. Casper, he's having a disaster of a night. It was so good last week, 2 wins. It's turned into an absolute nightmare this week. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the one commentator curse. Mike Noon and Owen not here to provide Casper with some good luck. Maybe I'm just a bad luck charm for him. Not good for him. He's going to have to try and make up some positions. And look at the weather. It is raining in the desert. Not many people would have expected that. We certainly here in the commentary box didn't expect this to happen. It's raining. Well, this could spice things up. Maybe some guys going for some wet setups. Not many guys will have some wet setups now for Qatar. I don't think a wet setup might even exist for this circuit. So it could be a race with no pit stops, depending on how wet the track is. Obviously, we're seeing the pit lane here. It probably looks intermediate, so it could be a pit stop race, especially with the tyre wear around Qatar. But this, I don't think many guys are going to have emergency ponchos around this truck. As the lights are on, it is intermediate tyres. We have 4, we have 5 lights. And away we go for the Qatar Grand Prix. It's a good start from Softy. Dan the man didn't have a great start, but Matt Tibbles has had a good start. He's going to try and go round the outside of Johners for P4. Matt, New Zealand Cam has gone wide. And he's lost out. to Johners at the moment. He manages to hold on. Actually, Lewis Craig has dropped down the order to P8 after starting P6. Not good for him. He's going to try fight it back. Machine Ireland has jumped up to P6, and I imagine that will be a stop-go penalty. That is his time penalty. A few guys seem to have black and white flags, so I think a few guys are going to have to stop for some drive-throughs. As you see, New Zealand calm, getting a move done on Dan the Man, but Dan the Man's corner is going to turn to the inside, and he manages to hold on for now. Lewis Craig and Phil Bardwell having a ding-dong battle for P7. Lewis Craig, who started P6, has dropped a few positions, not managing to hold on to P8 at all, though, and Lewis Craig actually back up the inside of Phil Bardwell. The camera angle's not doing us any favours here from Codemasters. They're still side by side. We still can't get a good camera angle of the battle. And if he has to yield his place, New Zealand Cam though, he's ran wide, and that allows Johners up onto the podium and gets the move done for P3. New Zealand Cam run wide by Dan the Man. Camo, he's going to try get the move done round the outside of the penultimate corner. The final corner, he can't get it done, and Johners should be able to get a move back down the inside as Cam has a illegal overtaking penalty that he would have had, and Matt Tibbles takes full advantage of that. Down the inside he goes of the Red Bull of Johners for the podium place. At the moment there's action further back. Cam's going to try and make it free wide into turn number 2, and Cam does get back past Matt Tibbles. Can he hold on and get down the inside here of Johners? Not yet. He's going to keep fighting and try, and he does get that move back down the inside. A great move from Casper, up 2 positions after dropping 2 positions from Cam. Now sets his sights on Softy. Dan the Man, and Softy's actually blasted off into the distance. He's 2.5 down the road. So good work from Softy, as this could be a Lewis Hamilton in Istanbul kind of race for him. As you see, there are the pit stops. You could go to the end, but it's a bit risky. It is recommended you stop lap 7 to 13. Matt Tibbles now, he's not worried about his pit stop yet. He's worried about getting past the back of that Red Bull in Johners. Not the Red Bull you'd expect to be up in P4. Johners obviously, he's had a good season so far, kind of in that mid-battle fight for the best of the rest, but he seems to be every season. He seems to be one that could get a podium, but not quite a race win. Lewis Craig up to P7. Obviously Machine Ireland demoted after the drive-through. Phil Bardwell struggling now through that final corner. Lewis Craig will open, and no, he won't open the DRS because it's obviously pouring rain. What am I talking about? Lewis Craig obviously looking in his mirrors as well to Jovial Manty. Lewis Craig not going to have the speed to make a move into turn number 1 and might need to focus on what's behind him. Lewis Craig though, he'll be happy with that start. P7. He just needs to keep on the road if that's what he can do. New Zealand calm now. 3 tenths adrift to Dan the Man. What can he keep that pressure on Dan the Man and maybe force Dan into a mistake? They're 2 seconds behind Softy, so they'll need to try and put that pressure back on Softy, who's sold down the road already, sailing down. And it's in pretty good conditions for sailing, so maybe that's why he's so far ahead already. But that kind of battle for P2. Cam obviously last season did manage a P2 at Qatar, so he knows what he needs to do to finish here. And it's just not many chances for overtaking in the wet here. It's kind of the main straight, or if someone makes a mistake. Lewis Craig though, he is on the back of Phil Bardwell through the second part of the track, the second sector. What can he do coming into the final part of lap number 3? Phil Bardwell runs a wee bitty wide, maybe picking up a warning. The Ferrari pit wall will be telling him here, just keep it in the white lines as Lewis Craig down the inside of the final corner now. Won't be able to get the move done, but he'll be looking to make a move on the start finish day. He moves to the right hand side. He's actually under pressure from Jovial Man. He's had a bad run out of there. The camera angle not providing any great hint there. Matt Tibbles is now past Johners as well for P4, and Lewis Craig drops to P8 when it looked like he was going to pick up P6, and he's now under pressure from Casper. Machine Ireland picks up the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. as he moves up into P13, further down the order, just the Red Bull man. Well, Lewis Craig, he wouldn't be expecting to have a battle with these guys up for P6, but he'll be happy just to be there in this kind of battle. This is the closest battle we've got on the circuit. Phil maybe costing Lewis a good run out of the final corner on the previous lap that cost him a run into turn number 1. Jovial Monty now looks like the man that if there is going to be a move, it would be him, and he's actually under pressure now from Lewis Craig. Lewis Craig is side by side with Jovial Monty. He's going to get pushed wide, and then Lewis Craig just gives it up. Got some guys in the chat saying hello, welcome to the Qatar Grand Prix. We're a couple of laps in. We hope you're enjoying the action as much as we are. Matt Tibbos, Jovial Monty, sorry, is actually going to go round the outside of the final corner. What a move this would be if Jovial Monty can pull it off. That Phil Barger's going to try pushing wide, but he can't get it pushed wide enough. Jovial Monty is going to try be side by side. Lewis Craig is going to try and get involved in this action. He wants his piece of the pie. He won't be able to. Jovial Monty round the outside of turn number 1. Can he get the move done? It looks like down the end. Phil Barger's going to be able to hold on, but that corner will turn into the inside for Jovial Monty, where he can push Phil Barger wide, and he does so, and the AlphaTauri picks up P6, and the Haas now, Lewis Craig is looking racy behind Phil Barger, ERT Casper's looking racy, and Court Gill also going to try and make a move as well. This 5-way battle for P6, no one willing to give an inch. They all want maximum points, they all want to improve their position in the standings. It's all about pride here in the TCB series. It's all about who can be the best, and Casper, who wants to be the best, who was the best last week, is very much struggling this week, as Softy is a 3.5 second lead, if you're wondering why we're not watching the battle for the lead of the Grand Prix. Just look how close these guys are. Look how close Lewis is. He's put the pressure on Phil Barger all night, and this is what Lewis can't afford. He needs to get past Phil now, because Jovial Monty seems to be breaking ahead. He's broken the 1 second. Obviously, DRS won't matter. It stopped raining, as far as we're aware, so it might dry up here. So we might end up having DRS later on in the Grand Prix. We might end up having slick tyres. But Lewis Craig is not worried about that right now. He's worried about getting past the Ferrari of Phil, who's also going to get passed by Casper. They're going to be 3 wide going into turn number 1, and Casper looks like he's going to be the man in the best place to get the position, and he does. He's overtaken both of them. He's up into P7. Demotes Lewis Craig and Phil Barger down a position. Court Gill's going to try and demote these two, but Lewis Craig actually is going to try and steal a position off Phil. Phil going to have the inside and push Lewis Craig wide. DRS is enabled, and Lewis Craig takes P8 from Phil, and Phil has dropped down the order massively. Phil's got the time, putting Court Gill down the inside, and Phil drops. And he's actually gone deep, Court Gill, and that will allow Phil to retake P9. So, interesting. It's dry. DRS is enabled. You can see some spray. Softy, 4 second gap. You'd expect him to come in, but if there was a man that could afford to stay out and stay on the intermediates, it would be him. He's got that much of a gap. But this is it. Softy is in. So we'll see what tyres the soft cop goes until the end of the Grand Prix, as everyone now is going to box. You'd imagine. Everyone is going to peel into the pits for dry tyres. I imagine it will all be soft tyres, or it actually might be mediums. 8 laps on the softs around this track would be absolutely chronic. And oh, disaster! Jovial Monty's picked up a 5 second time penalty for speeding in a pit lane. Absolute disaster for Jovial Monty, the Irishman. It was looking good for him to get a good result tonight, and it's just not panned out that way. It's Softy now on the soft tyres. He needs to go 7 laps. The top 4 all on softs. Johners on mediums. Jovial Monty on the softs. New Zealand Cam now. He might be able to get past Dan the man a bit easier this time around. And you can see just how much more grip he's got out the pit lane in sector 1. He gets the move down, 4.5 seconds. Thank you very much. I'll take P2. What can Dan the Man do now to counter? Matt Tibbos, he's in the back of this battle for P2 and a spot on the podium. He's less than a second back, so he's one to watch out for. Casper and Lewis Craig, both on mediums. They're in that time penalty frame of Jovial Manatee, so they should be able to gain a couple of places. See if there's any kind of battles further back. Aidan Griffin's on the back of Dom Smith. If there was a man that could make a move soon, it could be Aidan Griffin's. Dom went a lap earlier for the slick tyres, maybe wanting to avoid double stacking in the window there with his teammate Phil Bargewell, who's obviously further up the grid. But Dan the Man now, he'll open up the DRS for the first time in the Qatar Grand Prix. Softy says a 30 flat for the purple. Cam says a 29.7, but it doesn't matter because Dan the Man absolutely flies past him and leads. Casper now past Jovial Manatee for P6, so a good improvement for Casper, the Finnish driver, getting up to P6. Obviously not good for his championship hopes, but good overall for his point tally tonight. That didn't look good after Great Britain. Machine Ireland up into P11, not making the inroads he would have wanted, but he is making up positions. Court Gill now absolutely pushing the gearbox of Phil Barge on the Ferrari. Phil is just absolutely trundled backwards no matter who's come up behind him in this Grand Prix. He's not been able to hold him back, and it looks like he won't be able to hold Court Gill back much longer either. Court on that fresher rubber, on the softs compared to the mediums, the quicker rubber, the fresher rubber. Dan the Man though is under pressure from Cam as we come to the end of lap number 8. We go to start lap number 9. We have 5 laps to go until the end of this Grand Prix. 6, sorry. Softy leads by 4 seconds. But it's all about the battle for P2 at the moment. Cam goes to the right, left-hand side as Dan the Man goes defensive, but that's not enough to stop Cam. Cam gets the move done into P2. He goes, and further back, Court Gill now will make the move on the Ferrari of Phil Bargewell. Phil going to slip back into the slipstream, but he's not quite close enough to make a move, and Court Gill now can try and close that gap to Lewis Craig and put the pressure on him. Jovial Manatee 5 attempts back on Casper. 72 versus 56. Before tonight began, it was first v 7th in the standings. And well, as it looks like it's going to be Casper getting ever closer to Jovial Manatee for around that P4 place. And Dan the Man's picked up a 3-second time penalty. What we talked about earlier in the session that could cost some guys some valuable points. It looks like Matt Tibbos now, who's actually dropped off the battle of this pack for the final step of the podium, could be in striking distance of picking up a podium place now. So he missed out on a podium because of a penalty in Britain, but he could be picking up a podium because of a penalty here in Qatar. Court Gill, he's closing in on Lewis Craig. It's around about 8 tenths now, the gap. It was 1.5 a couple of laps ago. Lewis Craig harvesting the battery. Maybe used everything he could out of his pit phase. Not got enough in the tank to maybe keep going. This is the closest battle on track. Lewis Craig harvesting the battery. He's got no ERS. He's the man in danger. Court Gill's going to fly past and he'll take P8. Lewis Craig, you'll be happy with P9 after this season. You'll be wanting higher results, obviously, as a former 2GP2 champion. But it's just one of those. TGP1's a different level, and he'll have to be happy with what he can get. And I think he would be happy with a top 10 finish. Jovial Manatee in 7th place. Kind of keeping that 5 tenths behind Casper. Not really looking to make a move at this stage with the time penalty. It's not going to help him at all. Of course, it might just actually lead him into the track of the guys who are 4 seconds behind. Jack Hickey's been passed by Alistair. Obviously, Alistair has the penalty though, so Jack Hickey should be alright. Wet Lemons and Neiljack battling tooth and nail. The McLaren and the Mercedes, and the McLaren does come out on top in that battle. Danaman has dropped 1.8 now behind New Zealand Cam. That battle for P2 seems to be over, obviously, with the time penalty. Danaman maybe calling it a day. Jovial Mani not getting any closer. Lewis Craig seems to be under more pressure from Phil than he does putting pressure on court, and he's been harvesting that battery for a long time now as the Haas. Maybe the Scotsman not looking after the battery as much as you would like, especially around that time. But look at Jovial Mani, he's right in the back of Casper, can't get the move done. Lewis Craig gonna be able to hold P9 for now. Obviously, he might let Phil just blast past because Phil with the time penalty. Jack Hickey on the back of Alistair now. He'll open the DRS. McLaren v AlphaTauri. A former TGP2 champion, a former TGP1 race winner, and it's the former TGP2 champion, TGP1 champion, sorry. That takes P13. Jack Hickey won't be happy with that. Been down this low in the grid, but he'll be happy with a couple of points scored. Dom Smith is on the back in LJAC, but can't seem to make a move. The race seems to have kind of gone into a slump. We've kind of had all the pit stop phases. As Dom Smith and LJAC saying that are battling as Dom Smith does get past LJAC for P17. Yeah, we've kind of got into a slump in the race. It's kind of settled down. The guys are kind of spread apart. And this is just what happens in Formula 1. Matt Tibbles, though, he looks on course for a podium if he can keep it between the white lines and keep his good form that's been going on tonight. So keep going. Phil Barger's picked the winner penalty, so that should be Lewis Craig alright for P9, barring any incidents. Lewis Craig that's actually been passed by Phil Barger going into the first turn, so there you have it. But yeah, not much happening. Jovial Mani is putting the pressure on Casper. He gets the gap down in about 3 attempts, and then it shoots back up to about 6 attempts. So maybe that DRS and slipstream helping him get close, but not helping him with the overtake. Lewis Craig on the back of Phil, though. Is he coming up to the middle part of the track? Not going to be somewhere you can make a move unless there's a mistake involved from the driver ahead. But yeah, we're just kind of in this stage of the race where it's kind of counting down the laps now. It's been a good Qatar Grand Prix. We've had some good battles. We've got some interesting moments on the track. Wasn't quite as interesting as Great Britain, and there you go. There's a mistake from Lewis. 3 second time penalty. He obviously should be alright because I think Phil does have 6 seconds worth of penalties. So Lewis Craig at the moment should be alright, but barring another mistake, barring he drops 2.7 seconds back, he could be in trouble. Machine Ireland, of course, he's only 8 times back with 1 set of time penalties. He'll be wanting that position of Lewis Craig, though, if he can get it on track. You'd imagine he can, as Lewis Craig blast past Phil. Phil will try fight it back, but just isn't in a position to make that move quite yet. Now Jack picks up a penalty, and Joey Mani, I feel like I've said it a billion times, but he's closing in, but can't quite get the move done there for P5, P6. And Lewis, this is the battle on track between the 3 men, Lewis Craig, Phil Barger, Machine Ireland. The battle for P9, the last couple of points on the board, on offer here for these 3 drivers. Machine Ireland's had a really good run and almost gets absolutely collected by Phil Barger. He would have had absolutely nowhere to go there. It was a late lunge from Machine Ireland. He thought better of it, and it was the wise decision. Lewis Craig now, though, running out of VRS. Machine Ireland running out of VRS also. This is maybe Lewis Craig holding Phil Barger up a wee bit here. But then you could have said the same thing about Phil Barger holding up Lewis. They seem to be holding up each other. They seem to be so similarly paced, which is good for Lewis to hear that someone decent enough paced in the league. As Jovial Mani actually does get past Casper this time. Lewis Craig gets passed by Phil. He'll also get passed by Machine Ireland. And if he wants P10 on the grid, he'll have to if he wants P9, sorry, he'll have to get past Machine Ireland. He will get P10 because of Phil's penalty. But if he wants an extra point, as Phil gets passed by Machine Ireland now there as well. Lewis Craig, it's hammer time. You need to get the head down, boy. You need to get a move on and get past Phil. Try to get past Machine Ireland and try get P9 to score some good points at Qatar. But it's not about that. At the moment, we will focus on it when we get back down there. It's about this man. He got away in Sector 1. He's led every lap. Even the lap he pitted on, he led, came out, was still leading. He's not been in any danger from anyone. He's round the final corner. And your winner for the second season running of the Qatar Grand Prix is the Soft Cop. New Zealand Cam will take P2. Dan the Man will finish in P3 on the road, but Matt Tibos will take it. On penalties, Johners and Casper comes home in 5th and 6th. Jovial Manny 7th. Court Gill will take 7th actually. Penalties costing Jovial Manny. Machine Ireland takes 9th. Lewis Craig will take 10th. Phil will take 11th. And Chris Johnson looks like he's going to be the man to round out the top 12. Then it will be Jack Hickey. 2 points for him. Alistair Bain will be your last point scorer in Qatar. It'll be Aidan Griffins in 15th, missing out on the points. Wet Lemons will take 16th. Dom Smith, not a good race for him. He's coming home in 17th. And just then, we're waiting for the two Mercedes that are still battling on the run up to the line. Neil Jack has a penalty, so no point really holding on to it. And that is your Qatar Grand Prix. 14 laps in the rain. It got dry, but that didn't matter. Softy dominates from start to finish. And well, just one of those nights where it went all right for Softy and all wrong from everyone else. Machine Ireland, he invalidated his lap in qualifying, jumped the start, didn't really have a chance. Kai did what he could, but he just didn't have a level that Softy had. Softy upped that gear tonight. And Matt Tibos, P4 and P3, a podium for Matt Tibos, 2 P3s on the road. A good night for the Haas driver. And well, Softy takes a second win tonight as the rain seems to have come back in Qatar. Softy wins the Qatar Grand Prix for the second season running. Calm for the second season running is P2. Matt Tibos on the final step of the podium. Dan the Man will be happy with a 4th. Disappointed to miss out though with a penalty. Johners in 5th. Casper, your championship leader before tonight started. He's going to be a few points adrift in 6th. Court Gill and Jovial Manny finished 7th and 8th. Machine Ireland in 9th. Lewis Craig with 10th. He'll be happy with the 4 points scored there. Phil and Chris Johnson are 11th and 10th. Jack Hickey and Alistair Bain round out the points, with Wet Lemons and Aidan Griffins 15th and 16th. Dom Smith 17th. And the Mercedes of Mr. Giapelli and Nell Jack round out your grid. Round out your results, for the Qatar Grand Prix. It's been a great night. It's been another great session. And it's just a Tuesday for you, ain't it? 2 good races. We always seem to have great races when TGP1's on. Tuesday, it's just time for some good racing. It's some good battles. You know, if you're here on the channel, if you're watching, you know you're in for a treat. But that's tonight. That's Qatar and Great Britain. Softy takes a lead in the Drivers' Championship. But until next week, when I'm sure I'm going to be rejoined with someone, we've got Canada, we've got Japan. It's round 7, it's round 8. March 26th, Tuesday at 7:20. Make sure you are here because I'm sure we're going to be set for another couple of crackers. It's been Jack Craig 28. I've been TGP1 host for tonight, and I hope to see you all next week. And well done to Softy for taking 2 wins.